Hello and welcome to the new video. This time we're going to talk about the Cyclone again apparently, because we do have an update that just came out today, and it is mainly about the Cyclone. As you can see, those are the changes. I'm not going to go into the Hydralis, Void Ray, Infestor or Evolution Chamber change, but as always we want to focus here on the Cyclone because those changes are very significant. As you can see, its damage now, which was 11 plus 2 against Armored before, goes from 10 to 5 against Armored. So it is significantly stronger now against Armored units. Its speed, it has a higher base speed when it first comes out of the factory without the speed upgrade. And then after the upgrade, it still gets a boost, but it's a little bit less than before. So it's a little bit faster without the upgrade and a little bit slower with the upgrade. And the next change, that's another significant change. They increased the health after the upgrade and the cost of the upgrade. Now, I do like these changes a lot. And one of the reasons behind it is this does seem to be like quite a big buff, honestly. So we'll see how it plays out. But this does seem to me like a buff. Specifically because in one of my other videos, I showed you that against like Immortals or Stalkers, it still lacked a lot of strength. And it isn't really viable, especially with the Protoss micros. Some of you told me that I should like use the range of the Cyclone against Stalker. I didn't quite understand that, because the Cyclone has the same range as the Stalker and the Immortal. Like the lock-on range is the same as the attack range of the Immortal or Stalker. So you can't really micro against it. Even I did some testing. Even if I like micro one Cyclone against one Immortal, it's actually really difficult. And I'm always going to take a hit every time I lock on. Anyways, so it is going to be better against something like Stalkers, which is quite big. It is going to be a little bit faster when it comes out. The upgrade is more expensive, but gives a bigger buff, I feel like. I do like that because I fear that like one base all-in may be a little bit strong too with the Cyclone. But honestly, another thing that I want to, before we're also going to dive into the testing part, before I'm going to go into the testing part, one thing that I see like being problematic here, and that is the fact that we're balancing at pro level and not like a lower level. Because right now, like these changes seem ridiculous to me a little bit. Because I feel like if you're like a player below Master, even in Master League, it seems like you can just spam Cyclones now. It's like they are so strong against like pretty much everything. They don't really have like a strong counter either. At least that's kind of what it seems like to me. Like that unit is now so much easier to use, so much stronger than it was before. And even before, like Battle Mech and TVZ at lower level, it wasn't even that bad. So I'm not sure about the changes, honestly, because looking at it, like look at how much more damage it is. It goes from 13 to 15, and then it gets another +1 from like the upgrade against Armored. That does seem like a lot to me. That does seem like a lot to me. Not like a significant amount. Like I'm not saying now Cyclone or Imber, but I do feel like it goes in the direction they may be, especially at lower level. Okay, with everything like that out of the window, we're now gonna dive into our favorite unit tester again. Here we go. I've already done some testing, so we have for the hold on, I need to adjust the sound. Sorry about that, but that was a problem in the last video. Just want to make sure that that's not the case here. So we have +2 Blink Stalkers. And that is like the most important fight. Because one thing, like I want to build the Cyclone to take a third base as a turn. So if the Cyclone can't even trade good against the Stalker, which I describe as like a garbage unit because it doesn't have a lot of damage usually, it's usually like the early game unit that has a lot of utility. So these are 40 Cyclones with 1/1 and the upgrade against 40 Blink Stalkers. So first fight is going to be without micro. So this is without micro. And one thing that I did wrong in the other video, like I definitely agree on that. One thing I did wrong, the micro that I should be using here, so right now you see in this fight 16 Cyclones survive. So the micro that I need to be doing is I need to stutter step forward, obviously. So we need to go like this, and then we get like the maximum damage output, I suppose. So like that. Now we should trade a little bit better. 19 Cyclones now. It isn't the most like the most significant difference, but the Cyclones are winning pretty easily. Now, I can't micro both sides, and honestly, the Cyclone is like a like stutter step forward unit, like I just showed you. What I'm gonna do is I micro the Stalkers, and now let's see if I can win the fight. Because if I can't win the fight while microing the Stalkers, then that's like a good sign that the Cyclone is maybe a lot stronger now. So we're just gonna blink back a little bit. Obviously, it's kind of hard to micro like this, because like usually the Protoss would disengage, so like blink micro doesn't necessarily work like this, where you keep on fighting, and I'm not doing like a perfect job at it. And I'm actually surprised that like I do trade out this wall. But this is honestly not a bad trade, I would say. Let's give it like another 2 goes just to see. So once again, we're gonna blink back. Let's be a little bit more precise maybe this time. Let's see if we can do a little bit better, perhaps. Or maybe if we do worse, maybe that was just a fluke. As you can see now, the Cyclone's absolutely wrecked. So you can see like it does vary, especially because like I'm only microing one side. So obviously it does vary. But like that's not the point of it. I don't care if the Stalkers win or the Cyclones. The point of it to see the potential. And if you compare that to my last testing that I did, like this looks already a lot better, doesn't it? Like it's so hard for me to win with the Stalkers here. It's not even possible, I feel like. So we're gonna give it one more try here. See how it goes. It goes terribly. This is 1-1 against +2. One last thing we're gonna do for the Cyclone against the Stalker part. We're going to be reducing the Stalker count and the Cyclone count, because now this is a more realistic like early game setup. We're gonna get rid of the upgrades. Let's get 0-0. So let's go for the early game setup, which is also very important. So we're gonna have, let's say 16 against 16, something like that. And let's see if I have a chance. Or if like now, if now the Cyclones win, that's amazing. Cause like this should be like good for the Stalkers, right? Let's have a look. Now it's also much easier to like blink back. I'm always trying to like blink back so far that they're out of the Cyclone range, the lock-on range. But like as you can see, the Cyclone, they win again. Let's give it another 2 more goes to like confirm that it wasn't just a fluke. And yeah, that is actually a strong Cyclone against the Stalker at the very least. There's nothing I don't even bother. Like this is night and day difference between the last Cyclone and this Cyclone, right? I think you see the difference. Let's do it one more time, and then we're gonna change it up a little bit. So now I'm gonna really focus on my awesome blink micro. No, I lost the Stalker. No, again. I can't blink anymore. I don't have blinks. Looks very good, at least in the raw testing. And now what we're gonna be doing is, once again, we just do the Zealot part again. Just wanna see how they do against like, let's say 30 Zealots against 30 Cyclones with +1 against like, let's do 2-1 against 1-1 maybe. That seems fair. 30 Cyclones against 30 Zealots. Let's go. We're gonna kite now. Let's see how the kiting goes. Just kiting a little bit. Does seem very good. The kiting, that is. Yeah, the kiting seems to be working out pretty well as well. And like this trade was really good. Let's do the raw trade again without micro. This also looks... Oh wait, I made a mistake. Last time I didn't do 30 Zealots. I did a couple more Zealots than Cyclones, obviously. So here they win. But like, I should have looked what I did last time. I forgot, sorry. What I did last time, I think, was we're getting just rid of a few more Cyclones here. And then we do like, did I do 20? Yeah, I mean 20 seems to be kind of alright. Let's do 20 against 30. No micro. So if you don't micro, they do get beaten, but that's also the case with Bio, and now we micro. And now let's see how quickly they beat the Zealots, or if they have to beat them, right? Looks good. I mean, that's decent. You can see they do less damage than before, because look at how long I have to kite. But you know, against Zealots, I can also make Hellions, I can also make Wooder Mines, I can make Hellbats. So like, it doesn't feel like this is like a fight that is like necessary. So for the last PvP engagement, we're gonna go with the Immortal, I guess. So last time we did, and this is something I agree on as well, by the way, with the comments. Here I should have done stutter step forward. But my main point was just like how good Immortals are. It doesn't matter if they win the fight or not. Like this is double the supply Cyclones against double the supply Immortals. So obviously if I don't micro, they win. But like this is double the supply, come on. Like if I micro and like I have like a couple more Immortals, like it doesn't matter if I micro. So like it two shots the Cyclone. Now it doesn't. If I have, and this is like look at this. This is like interesting now. So this is with 1-1 against 2-1. We get a micro, so we're gonna stutter step forward. Quite obviously. One time, so yeah, obviously the Cyclones win if I stutter step forward. Now I do it like last time. Last time I did it like this, the Cyclones lost. Last time the Immortals won, and now you can already see a difference. And like here's like one big difference, obviously. These Immortals have +2, and with +2 they do 60 damage against armored, and they have 120 HP. And if I don't have one armor upgrade, they get two-shotted. So like look at the difference now. Now they get two-shotted again. Look at the difference suddenly. So now the Cyclones still win, which is quite amazing, because last time they lost. But like, now the Immortals suddenly traded a lot better. And that's like the interesting math, because like, let's see, if I have +3 armor, I have 3 armor. If I have +3 attack, I have 65 damage. So as soon as the Immortals have +3 attack, they are suddenly so much stronger against the Cyclone. And I really do like this dynamic, I think. Because like a +3 Immortal should be the counter eventually against the Cyclone. And that is the case here. Like a +3 Immortal is just so good at it. Once again, without micro, but yeah, I mean, I can also do it with micro against like more Immortals. Look at the cost. So we're gonna do one even fight here. I guess this is about even. I mean, it's not in cost, but like Immortals are a lot harder to build than Cyclones. So for me, this is even cost. This is even to me. Because like Banshees are not the same like Vikings. Banshees you make out of a starport with a tech lab. Vikings you can make out of a reactor. So like the production facilities are like completely different. Like it's much cheaper to build Cyclones out of a reactor factory than Immortals out of a robo. But like look at this. Like even if I'm micro, like these Immortals are just gonna annihilate the Cyclones. No problem whatsoever. And I do like that dynamic. So this to me is a very good change if that is sticking in the game. Because I really like these dynamics where if I have one armor upgrade, suddenly my Cyclone is a lot stronger against the Immortal. If the Immortal has like +3, suddenly it's like a lot stronger. If it has +2 and I don't have +1 and now like 2 shots. And then I also like that it does 2 shot with +3 because in the end in like a super late game, you know, like in a late game setup, I feel like the Immortal is supposed to be the counter. But now it's not the counter at all times like it was before. At least that is the theory. And another thing that I want to be testing, this is going to be solely a video against Protoss, because I feel like that's the most interesting. People have asked how good it is against like carriers. So we're gonna put it into we're gonna put it on test here against air units. So let's get fully upgraded Protoss and Terran units here. We're gonna get +3 on the air, +3 on the ground. And then we're just gonna have like a 200 supply Cyclone army going at it against like a 200 supply carrier army. So 140 supplies like in-game, or actually in like late game maybe 150 supply. That's like the max out supply for Terran, and then we do the same for carriers. Or kind of, I have to put them a little bit further away here, because otherwise they start fighting immediately. And we're gonna get like the same amount of carriers. Honestly, I should get rid of some carriers because the cost is not the same. So we're just gonna get rid of a few. The cost is still a lot, like, but the supply is a lot lower. Let's go 20. I think 20 is fine. So 150 supply of Cyclones against 120 supply of carriers. The Cyclones are still cheaper. Yes, they are. Let's see. We're gonna stack up the carriers so they do as much damage, and we're gonna dive in with the Cyclones because that's how they maximize the damage. I think the Cyclones are gonna win pretty easily. Oh my goodness. Yay. Let's do 30 carriers. Now I'm gonna be crazy. I think this is overkill, but I want to see this. Don't tell me I can beat 30 carriers with... I mean, I've never seen 30 carriers in the game. But they are gonna win, right? Cyclones, come on. I don't even have to do anything. I'm not even microing. Oh, one more attack move to center their damage. Wow. 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 Just wow, they actually win. And this was the most unrealistic fight that I've ever seen. That was the most unrealistic fight I've ever seen, honestly. Like, look at the cost difference. Okay, let's do Void Race. Let's do Void Race with their upgrades. Where is it? The Flux Vein upgrade. Oops, there we go. Let's do the Void Ray. We're gonna start off with, let's do 150 supply against 150. I mean, the carriers just got destroyed so hard, so yeah. Okay, we're gonna once again dive in. That was a little bit weak micro from my part, but even against the Void Rays, they do murder those units. Absolutely murder. Obviously, this is unrealistic, but like, just to show you, like, just to put this into perspective, like, if I do Marines against carriers, like, Marines were already so good against carriers, like, just to have a comparison, I'll show you. So if we do the comparison to, like, Marines against carriers, so we do 150 Marines, and there's also the Viking. The Viking is another great solution against the carrier. 150 Marines against, let's do 30 carriers, like the Cyclones. But we should go a little bit more. Oops, not this one. We should maybe add a few more Marines because the cost is not the same. Like, Marines are so much cheaper, of course. This is not a late game army. So we're gonna get a 200 supply Marine army just for comparison. Still a lot cheaper than the Cyclones. That's the thing. Like, Cyclones are like so... Like, 2 Cyclones for 1 Marine is such a good trade. Like, I would rather have a Cyclone than 2 Marines. But like, look at, Marines are so good against carriers, but like, let's see how they trade. They should also win the fight, right? Marines are really good against carriers if they get underneath. In all honesty, like, in terms of supply cost, they are not the same as the Cyclone. But yeah, Cyclones are essentially, and this is the point I'm trying to make, Cyclones are essentially as good against carriers as Marines, just in a raw fight, and that is actually like, that's actually so silly to me. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot more testing we have to do against Protoss. That was about, yeah, it, I would suppose. I'm just gonna do one last testing, and that is going to be against Colossus. That's gonna be a really silly testing because I don't know if that makes sense, but we're gonna go mass Colossus against mass Cyclones. I just want to see that last time. So 150, so let's do 120 against, let's see how many. Just compare the cost. So this is essentially the Cyclone against all the Protoss units. Like, I didn't include the Archon, I didn't include the Disruptor because I can't micro that much. I included the most important. We didn't include the Archon because I can kite it. We didn't include like the Adept because why would we? A High Templar, Dark Templar, like, of course not. Phoenix, of course not. We're just including Oracle, of course not, the most important units here. Okay, let's get some more Cyclones. 120 supply, let's see. Wow, Cyclones are actually more expensive than Colossus are, so let's get a few more Colossus like this. And then a couple more Cyclones maybe like this. Is this about even? Yes, it is. So let's go ahead. Last fight probably here. Oh, I need Thermalance. Let's go, Thermalance. And here we go. Yeah. Yeah. So essentially what this feels like right now, like I have not played a real game, and maybe that's not the case. Maybe with better Stalker micro. Maybe without expanding the turn. But honestly, after doing all this testing, Immortal is okay, but like also not amazing. Like, it's very amazing if it has like an upgrade advantage or like +3. But like, there's other solutions to the Immortals, there's other solutions to the Zealot. I do wonder how it's gonna fare against like Phoenix Zealot. That's something I can't really test in a unit tester. But like, After doing this testing, I think we can kind of agree on that the new Cyclone, it does look very powerful against Protoss, right? Leave your opinion in the comments like the last time, and I hope to see you again in the next video. I'm sure this is not the last time you see me talking about the Cyclone. Make sure to leave a comment and subscribe. See you next time.